Hi, folks. Tim Conti here with Cloud Collaboration Consultants. Thank you for joining today's webinar. I'm going to share my screen here so we can get started. So today's presentation and today's webinar is titled Unleash the Power of Phone, Video Meetings, and Messaging to Support Your Remote Mobile Workforce. And we're going to focus on two of the leading providers that address this space, this market, and that is RingCentral and Zoom. So I've started in the unified communications business 15 years ago. I worked for many of the providers that you might be considering. I worked at 8x8, worked at Avaya, worked at Fuse. I'm also a partner of RingCentral and recently became a partner of Zoom. They just recently launched their partner program. We consider ourselves experts in the market, and our goal is to help IT technology leaders evaluate, implement, and adopt the leading unified communication solutions. So before we get started, if you are willing to give us time in this webinar, which you're here, so you are, we're going to give you at the end, if you stay till the end, this amazing research report. This is over 100 hours of expert research on unified communications. We cover 26 key evaluation criteria. We rank the providers, RingCentral, Zoom, Fuse, Microsoft Teams, to name a few. And we rank everything from where they fall in the Gartner Magic Quadrant, what their top CRM integrations are, such as Salesforce.com, where their differentiation is. This is hundreds upon hundreds of hours of expert research. Yours free. It's going to come across as a PDF document. There's 4 pages, and this alone will save you a ton of time by not having to research the market. So stick with us to the end. We've actually presented this data to a few CIOs, and they were extremely impressed with the level of detail and the amount of research that we're giving away for free. And oh, by the way, you won't find this stuff on Google, or if you do, you really have to search for it. It'd take you a ton of time to pull this information. So stick around. So are you in the right place for this webinar? And should you be here? If you feel as though your company can benefit from unified communications, which I call unified communications MVP, messaging, video, phones. Those are how we classify unified communications. So if you feel as though your company is on an older technology, maybe an on-premise phone system, and you're looking to migrate to the cloud, can you benefit from a unified communication solution? If you feel like the answer is yes, you're in the right place. And also, in addition, if you feel as though you don't have time to research the providers or don't know where to start, then you are in the right place as well. Also, if you want a deep dive of the technology and the solution providers, either high level or deep dive, but you don't want to talk to the vendors just yet, maybe you're just not ready, or maybe you feel as though their information is biased, which it is. I know, because I was one of them before. I was a industry vendor rep for these providers, so I know. But if you're looking for unbiased information, you're in the right place. If you're hearing that moving to a cloud-based unified communication solution is easy as flipping a switch, which it's not, you're in the right place. We have helped hundreds of customers migrate from on-premise phone servers to the cloud, and it is not as easy as flipping a switch. Can you plug a phone in and it'll come up and you can make and receive calls? Yes, but implementing it within your business environment is an entirely different story. You're also in the right place if your communication tools aren't flexible or powerful enough to support your requirements for your end users and your business units, especially now. So when the pandemic hit, in March, a lot of customers were forced with reevaluating their communication tools. And what we hear time and again is a lot of the tools aren't flexible enough to support their environment. Who knows what the future holds for us? Personally, I think it'll be a hybrid solution where we will be on the road with vendors and customers. We will occasionally be in a physical office and probably working from home more than the other two, but who knows? And the key is to provide an anywhere solution, whether or not you're on your iPhone or your laptop like I'm on right now, or your physical phone, being able to choose the communication tool that's best for you and your end users. And then lastly, if you're also in the right place, if you have a mix of communication platforms, we call these siloed communications. Maybe you've got an Avaya phone system, but Microsoft Teams for collaboration, or maybe you have Zoom video, and you're using Slack for collaboration. So these are just a few. WebEx would be another example. GoToMeeting another example. There are so many tools out there that creates confusion in the marketplace. So as I mentioned before, for the last 15 years, I worked exclusively in unified communications. I haven't done anything else. And my job that's most relevant to this is at CDW Corporation in downtown Chicago. I was the team's subject matter expert. I was introduced to hundreds of customers in every imaginable vertical market, helping them with their digital transformation, with their migration strategy. And in that role, we represented all the top unified communication solutions out there. We worked with Cisco, Avaya, RingCentral, 8x8, Zoom. So those are all options in the marketplace. And we were brought on to just eliminate the clutter and to provide a framework for IT leaders to migrate. It's a 10-point framework that I've created, that everything from a first private consultation call all the way down to adoption of the technology, and then everything in between, which we're going to cover in today's webinar. So my promise to you, if you stick with us on this webinar, I'm going to provide a 10-step process that I perfected over hundreds of client engagements during my 2 years at CDW. We'll cover the pitfalls, but most importantly, how to avoid them. You can learn from myself as well as your industry peers of what they went through in terms of migrating to this exciting technology, and we'll get going. So what you'll walk away with today, you'll have a detailed roadmap to evaluate, implement, and adopt the providers. Hundreds of hours of research here is free. I'm also offering a 30-minute expert consultation right now. Just in the I consult in the private equity market for unified communications, and I get paid $300 per hour to do that consultation. So half of that is $150. We'll give you that for free. You can ask anything you want on these calls. Maybe you're about to sign a contract with a provider, but you have some concerns. Maybe you're just getting started and you're wondering if this technology is right for you. Whatever it is, you can ask it on that free call. We'll also give you access to our brand new total cost of ownership ROI tool. This is a tool that we've developed that's proprietary to us, that help customers compare their current communication costs to a unified communication solution. This is a groundbreaking ROI, total cost of ownership tool. It also helps pave the way when your CFO is asking, hey, before I sign off on this new expenditure, even though it's right for our business, how does it compare to our current costs? And all that's included. And I'll try to jump in and show you a little bit of it if we have time today. And then most importantly, why some of you are here, a detailed comparison between two industry leaders, RingCentral and Zoom. And we're going to give you a side-by-side comparison on this call. All right, so a few things that you will kind of run into as you evaluate these providers are, one, during the research phase, whether it be VoIPreview.org or any of the comparison sites, they're either trying to sell you something, or the goal is you're going to run into some very biased information towards the vendors. Most of the stuff that's out there in unified communications was written by the providers, which isn't a surprise. The challenge for you, the end user, is it's biased towards them. Now, they all say they're the best. They can't all be the best, but I will tell you that there is always a best one for you based on your unique requirements. You're also going to find out that they all kind of look and sound the same. They all have video and messaging and phones, and the differences are very slight, but they're out there, I can guarantee you. I can tell you the one or two differences between all the major providers. And oh, by the way, our research report provides that for you as well. We have a whole section on differentiation. So if someone wanted to say, what's the 1, 2, 3 differences between Zoom and RingCentral, we're going to show you what those are. When it comes to evaluating the providers, you got a couple of choices, right? You can DIY, do it yourself, where you go out, evaluate the providers, do the research, get the quotes, negotiate the contracts, do the implementation, or you can work with a trusted advisor, and most of our services are free. We get paid by the provider if you choose one of the ones we recommend. If you don't, no harm, you don't owe anything. But this service, our consulting engagements, depending on the level of detail, most of them are free or very nominal charge. But back to this one really quick. The biggest one's that last sentence. We have your interests in mind. We create long standing relationships with our clients. My largest customer has been with me for 10 years. We've rotated them out through 2, 3 providers in those 10 years. When a provider falls off and isn't keeping up with SLAs, we move them on to a better solution, or when new technology comes out, we help migrate them. So we're not one and done. We're not looking to make a recommendation and move on. We want to make sure that this, first, we help you make the right decision and with the unified communications, and then from there, help you implement it and help you adopt the technology within your business. So, if you do this on your own, you're going to spend tons of time researching these providers. The story I tell is I worked recently with an IT director at a manufacturing company, and their main driver was integration with Salesforce.com. They lived in Salesforce and they wanted a communication solution for phones that integrated with Salesforce. And all the providers say they integrate with Salesforce, which they do, but there's varying degrees of integration. And when someone says we integrate with Salesforce, that means different things to different people. So, he had gone down this path with the team. They analyzed and sat through 10 demos, through 10 providers to finally find the one that they felt was the right fit. I showed him my tools after he had already made a decision, and he put his hands in his head. He couldn't believe it, that we actually showed him how we would have narrowed it down to 2 providers after just 1 or 2 phone calls, and then really focused around there. So we really bring to the table the providers that make the most sense. So we'll work with you on option 2 to shortlist the providers, understand your requirements, move into demo, perhaps POC contracts, and I'll run you through our framework here in a little bit. But that's what you get with option 2 when you outsource. So introducing the best unified communication vendor selection process. We really firmly believe that. We know you can do it on your own, but why not work with the experts? So let me take you through what's included with the 10-step process and what's included with our services. First and foremost, as I mentioned, you get a 60-minute video consultation with me, a unified communications expert, where one, I want to know about your organization, what your goals are, what business problems you're trying to solve for, if there are any, and just explore unified communications, understand the tools that you currently use today so I get a feel for what you're doing. And then the second half of the call, the 60-minute call, is all dedicated towards you. You can ask us anything. If you want to know price points, I can give you that right away based on hundreds of deals that we've put through the systems with these providers. If you want to know who's got the best video solution, or just who's doing the best job for their clients right now, all that's available during your 60-minute call. We give you the research, and I covered that. It's 27 evaluation criteria. This is the report that you get access to at the end of the webinar. But this is research you won't find on the web by searching for it yourself. When we say unbiased vendor selection, so we provide you with a web link as part of our process. And in the web link, it takes you about 7 to 10 minutes to fill it out. And when you fill out the form, it's just asking questions about your current environment. What PBX are you on today, or what unified communication solution? What are your goals of the project? Again, think of it as kind of that first doctor's consultation, just trying to get to know you better. But the great thing about this is you can start here with our survey before you go to the providers. And what this does is, once we get the results of your survey, myself and my team of engineers are going to analyze all of your data, and we're going to shortlist the providers for you based on your requirements. So you don't have to guess at it. If we know that X is important to you, whatever it might be, our algorithm and our software is going to take that into account. And then I'm going to come back and say, all right, we like Microsoft Teams RingCentral 8x8, or we like Zoom RingCentral 8x8, or Dialpad, or whomever it might be, Call Tower. Providers may be some that you've never even heard of that fulfill a certain spot in the marketplace. So this alone is a $2,500 value. This saves you a ton of time. And we include this at no additional charge. We call it the vendor shortlist or the unbiased vendor selection. Then from there, when we shortlist the providers and we know that we're on the right track and we're bringing to you providers that we know are the best fit for you, not for them, but for you, we'll go out and we'll ask for some times that these vendors are available on your behalf to do a product demo. Now, here's what the demo isn't. You just sitting back, listening, and they go through, why they're great, and show you their software and their video and their tools. We customize the demo to show what's important to you, not them. We want to use this time to focus on what's relevant to you guys. So if, it's analytics, and KPIs, key performance indicators, and you want to see how the system's going to make you more productive, that's where we focus our efforts. So this we all know up front. We coach these vendors to not do a standard demo as a waste of your time, their time, my time, everyone's time. So this value alone is $1,000 there. Price negotiation. I've done hundreds of unified communications contracts. I've seen every single price point known to man. When I was at Avaya, I actually saw every contract that came through the system for cloud. So I saw exactly, based on the number of users, the license type, the pricing. We can give you guidelines on a first call of what this looks like. Now, it isn't just about low price. That's not our goal here. It's about value. Choosing the right provider, implementing the right solution. The price will be there. We'll negotiate it where it needs to be within reason, but it's not a cheap VoIP solution. That's not what we're after. What we're after is implementing a solution that changes your business for the better. This alone is a $5,000 value, if not more. This is optional, but a no charge proof of concept. I do recommend, depending on your situation, to roll out 4 or 5 phones, perhaps to different business units, different business heads, different types of users, not just IT. We get you a proof of concept where we have the vendor provider ship a phone, it's pre-configured, and then we usually run through a training session for you as well. You evaluate the technology for a couple of weeks. It's not required, but I recommend it. It just is pulling more people into your environment, into the decision-making process, so they feel like they're all part of it. And also, if there's any gotchas on your network, it'll come out then too during the POC. So again, this is optional. Most of the POCs are free. They might try to charge depending on what you're trying to do during the proof of concept. Like for instance, if you're integrating with Salesforce.com and you want to do a live real integration and a proof of concept, might be a nominal charge. We do our best to try to get it waived, but it's out there. So the total cost of ownership analysis, this is huge. This is a new tool we rolled out that compares your on-premise phone system, maintenance, moves, adds, and changes, all the things that go into connectivity, SIP trunking or PRIs, all that goes into your current on-prem environment, the cost of the upgrades, the maintenance, and we compare it to unified communications solution. It also puts it into a really nice business case that you can use to get your unified communications project approved by your CFO. Professional installation. This one, if I could stop on one slide and end the presentation, it would be with this key point. You absolutely want to have professional services included in your proposal. Most of the providers include a basic setup, which involves a project coordinator, not a project manager, big difference, project coordinator, but you are on the hook if you don't do paid pro services. You're on the hook to do a lot of stuff that you're probably not aware of. I know because I've been through this for customers. So sure, if you're a 5-person accounting firm, we can spin it up pretty quick with RingCentral, Zoom, 8x8. But if you're a larger organization above, say, 50 employees, you want to do the paid pro services. But I have found a way, a little secret, I have found a way to get this included either at no charge or a much more appropriate charge for this. I'm being vague here because the pro services are all different for each provider, but what you're really getting here is a true managed implementation, which is what we want here. Everything from porting the phone numbers to creating your user profiles. You're gonna have to do a lot more work than you might think. And what I know about IT professionals is time is not one thing you have. The goal here is to save you time. So absolutely, with the professional services, this is something you want included, and I found a way to really make this attractive. So here's what you're going to get with our process. You're going to get the ROI analysis, the comparison of on-prem versus cloud. You're going to get a free 60-minute private consultation with me. You're going to get 100 hours of UCaaS research you can't find on the web. You're going to get an unbiased vendor selection based on your inputs. We're going to tell you which providers are the best fit based on your requirements. We're going to do a customized product demonstration led by us, but with the vendors. We're going to negotiate the best deal possible, the best value in the market, guaranteed. It's going to be much better than trying to do it on your own because we have benchmarks. We know what price points we can get to, and we can help you negotiate. We sit on your side of the table. Providers are on the other side. We sit next to you. No charge proof of concept, which we covered. Professional installation, either included or waived or is part of the overall package, and we'll find you a way. So all these things, you're talking about $19,404 if you added up all the value. We're also going to throw in some bonuses. I'm going to provide bonus number one is the top 5 UCaaS traps. These are little things like overhead paging systems. There's there's a handful of traps out there you need to be aware of. Even porting your numbers. So a lot of times providers say they can port your number, transfer your number. Sometimes they can't. And we can find out up front to make sure that there's no issues with rate centers or whatnot that would prevent us from doing that. Training and implementation, these are all part of the traps. Give you bonus number one, a $99 value included. Bonus number 2, contracts, tips, and tricks. We tell you what things to pull out of the contract with the vendor. We also tell you what to put in. They don't tell you that. We tell you that based on previous experience. The goal is to protect you. After your 30-day grace period with all these providers, you are locked into this agreement unless your lawyers negotiated some kind of an out clause for performance, out clause for if your company runs into some issues financially. There's a million reasons, but when you sign on the dotted line and you say, I'm signing a 3-year agreement with 8x8 and it's for 40 users, you are on the hook for 3 years for 40 users. And if you want to cancel, what they'll say to you is, sure, you can cancel, but you owe us the remainder of your contract, 40 users times the remaining term. That's it. And there's not a lot of budging there. So we help you protect you with language to take out and language to put in. Bonus 3, this is a big one. These solutions are only as good as the adoption rate internally by your employees. You can choose a unified communication solution for all the right reasons, but if your clients aren't adopting it, the technology, you're not getting the productivity benefits. And we have a proven process to ensure adoption. Once your users start using this system, they're going to love it, but we got to get them to use it. So I'll include that. Bonus number 4, every quarter, the vendors release their promotions to the clients, but they're not really out there. You don't get the promotion information until you run through a sales cycle with these providers. We know what the promotions are up front. That could be 1 free month, 2 free months, 3 free months. 30% off licenses, free phones is a big one. Every provider, Dialpad, Zoom, 8x8, RingCentral, has a different promotion every quarter, every 3 months. So we'll include that up front and show you all the promotions that are available to you. So all the things I just covered, plus the 4 bonus reports, values $19,800. All of this for a one-time payment of $995. There's the link to sign up below. One-time payment, we do all those things. Evaluate, implement, and adopt the best unified communication solution for you. This is a program that we put a ton of time and effort in using our 15 years of experience to help you guys make the best decision. And as a risk-free guarantee, if you find a deal that you can get better on your own, or go out and find a deal on your own that's better than working with us, I'll pay you $300. I'm not confident in our ability to provide you the best experience for unified communications adoption or solution implementation. So if after our process you feel as though you could have got a better deal or done it better yourself, I'll pay you $300. Just a quick quote from one of our local customers in Naperville, Illinois. We helped Sachin with a move to RingCentral. He was under pressure to move. There's a lot going on with the leasing market right now with office space, and we had to get him out of his old space and up in his new one pretty quickly. We went to work, got him some competitive bids, ran him through the same process. We did a couple of demos. We all agreed that RingCentral was the best service, and Sachin continues to be a great customer of ours. So here's where you sign up today. One payment of $9.97. That's it. You can join via the link below, submit your payment, and then my team will reach out to you and we'll start to talk about next steps here. So that's the webinar presentation for today. But before we go, as promised, we're going to provide you with the research report. So I am going to switch my screen here really quick and exit out of there. And I am going to show you this one of many really cool tools that we have available to you that helps with, oh, what did I do there? Let's just close out of that, make it easy. There we go. So this is just one of many tools that we have available to help IT leaders with the evaluation. And one of them is our matrix. And there's a lot. I could spend a whole hour on just this tool that we give you access to as your trusted advisor for unified communications. But I'm going to start with the dynamic matrix. The matrix is our comparison chart. We support a lot of different technologies, as you can see here, but our real focus is unified communications. Okay, so I'm going to go to the UCaaS matrix. I'm going to launch this matrix. And you see here, first and foremost, this is all the providers in our portfolio. Now, 80-20 rule, 3 or 4 providers represent 80% of the market. That on this list is Zoom, Microsoft Teams, probably RingCentral, Avaya, and 8x8. Those would be the big ones here. That's not to take anything away from some of these other guys. There's some providers in here that are doing a really good job for their clients that maybe you haven't heard of, and based on your requirements, if they're a right fit, we're going to introduce them. So, chances are you're going to evaluate the market leaders. We'll help you do that. But let me give you an idea of some of the things we do. One, say that you're a global organization. You're going to care where the provider's data centers are. Here's why. If you have an office in, say, China, you want an Asia Pac data center. Otherwise, calls are coming all the way from China to go to the US data center, all the way back. Voice does not like latency or delay. That causes bad call quality. So you're going to want to know, and we're going to match your geo footprint where your offices are. And then under the opportunity criteria, for now, we'll just choose North America, but we're going to want to know where your locations are and map the best provider. Let's say that you want to integrate and reuse a existing handset, existing phone. That could be Polycom, that could be Cisco, that could be Avaya, Yealink. These are some of the more common ones. So if there's a need to reuse what you have today, that's another evaluation criteria. When we integrate with your CRM, obviously Salesforce being one of the bigger ones, we can check that box too, but maybe your Dynamics, maybe you're something else. On the productivity, all these providers include message, video, phone in their stack, but maybe you're all in with Teams and you want something that integrates with Teams. So you want to ditch your on-prem PBX, but go with Microsoft Teams. So we can check that box there too. That's an important one. And then compliance, this one's huge. Let's say you're in a heavily regulated industry and you require a certain compliance. Let's say in this case, it's HIPAA. Check the box there, and then these providers rank up. So then from here, I can deselect and remove any of the folks that I want from the evaluation criteria. So I can either leave them in, and this is just based on my knowledge of the market, but the tool then, we'll leave that one in. The tool produces the results here, and then I generate this matrix. And this is what I was telling you about earlier. You have access to 26 different evaluation criteria. The basic stuff in the beginning: who's the provider, where's their headquarters, how many employees, are they public or private, how many seats do they have in service. But then it quickly goes into much more detail around where they rank in the Gartner Magic Quadrant, what's their sweet spot in terms of users they support, what key acquisitions have they made, where are their data centers, what about their compatible handset, what platform, what third-party verified compliance, compliance that someone else verified, because these providers might say they have a compliance, but maybe they don't, and we have a third-party verification. What they're doing for contact center, that's huge. If you're pulling out, say, an Avaya PBX, it's probably touching or connected to a contact center Avaya environment too that needs to be addressed. Do they offer SIP trunking? What are their differentiators? These are the big ones. That one or two different things that make them unique is in this report. CRM integration, Microsoft Teams integration, top customer verticals implementation, and then collaboration, all in this report. But if you remember at the top here, what I covered is these are the things we put in our opportunity criteria. And then if they fulfill it, there's a checkbox there. If they don't, it's going to show a gap. And what's great here is we can just print this to PDF and it's going to put it into a very nice, I'll show you a version or the copy. It's going to put it into a very nice spreadsheet PDF document for you. Here's the matrix, what the end result looks like. We're going to PDF this up and send it to you. This is what you're going to get as part of this webinar. So just reach out and for the folks that are on the webinar, you're going to get a copy of this right after. But this is all the things we talked about. And here we evaluated some of the top providers that we know by name, but we pull the matrix based on the survey you fill out at the very beginning of your requirements. That way, we're only going to present to you the providers that make the most sense. Make this data yours, use it as yours. When someone internally asks you the evaluation criteria you used, this is a great report to start with. We presented this to a CIO at a half-day engagement, consulting engagement in Chicago, and we were presenting this matrix, and the CIO's got his hands in his head, and we're like asking him, "Hey, what's up?" And he's like, what you just showed in 3 clicks took our team 3 months to pull it all together. And he had to assign people from his IT staff to run out and do this. And then that's time taken away from securing his network, working on strategic projects that get people promoted within IT, all those things he could be doing instead of this busy work. The busy work is done. The report is here. The data is here. These are things that we know are important when you look at the evaluation criteria. So that's what I got. And as you can see there, we promised a comparison side by side with Zoom versus RingCentral. And here it is. And we can shorten this where we just show you those 2 providers. But that's the comparison we were talking about. And those are the key differences between Ring and Zoom. This market is consolidating quickly, and Ring and Central and Zoom used to be partners, and now they're competitors. Zoom is known as a video company that just added voice, Zoom Phone, and now Zoom United with their complete package. RingCentral is more known as a pure play unified communications provider that was using Zoom for video for their clients, and they've since ceased that relationship, and now RingCentral's got RingCentral Video. So similar with Microsoft Teams. So there's a lot of competition, and when you're searching, you might come down to Zoom versus RingCentral. We can help you with that. We can help you evaluate these 2 providers. We can pit them against each other in a very ethical manner to get you the best value, and also make sure that we're on the right track. One last thing I wanted to show you today is I promised on the ROI, the tool that we've got that helps you compare from a costing perspective. And I just wanted to show you that really quick before we let you go. But as part of our solution, we're going to give you this very detailed, sorry, I could have probably done that a lot quicker the other way, but let's go to full screen so you can see it. We're going to give you a very detailed total cost of ownership analysis comparison of your on-premise phone solution to a unified communication solution. We survey a lot of clients. We have a lot of data points. The 2 biggest reasons other customers are considering unified communications is their PBX is out of warranty, or they have a service contract that's expiring soon. Those are usually two big things, or maybe you've outgrown your system or you're paying too much. There's other reasons, but the top two are around your on-prem environment and the cost you're paying for someone to manage that system for you, or maybe you're managing it. But the market's moving away from on-prem to cloud at a pretty rapid rate, and COVID has just made that escalate even faster, adopt faster in the market. Um, we'll kind of skip through some industry trends here, but the executive summary, and this will be custom to you. So this is one example, but this client saved 1.48 million by switching to UCaaS when they took all their costs for PBX and maintenance and usage and conferencing and installation and the cost to have a DR site up and running. Um, when they moved from on-prem to cloud, it saved them, just under 1.5 million. I'll show you how we get there. What are some of the drivers involved? This is all a business case that you can use to present this internally, and we can tweak it too. But some other benefits: upgrade seamlessly, eliminate downtime, rapid scalability. And you see here, this is the inputs we put in for the client that produced that $1.5 million savings number that showed it. So we've got the ability to put in your numbers in here and produce the same report. We can also manipulate any of the tools or data. If you don't agree with how we pulled something, or we don't agree on, what a cost is for X, that can all be changed for you. So I just wanted to make mention of the TCO ROI. This is something, again, that is part of the overall process. So I'm going to stop my share here and get back in the video. So I wanted to thank you for spending, it was actually well under an hour. We did it in 34 minutes, for spending time with us today. As I mentioned, you're going to get a free matrix comparison report sent to you. Also, if you want to take advantage of the consultation call, or the vendor shortlist, those are two things that we are doing for a short period of time for free. Our goal here is to get our name and word out there and help as many IT executives as we can with their digital transformation migration. At some point, we're going to charge more. I did give you the program too. That's $997. That's soup to nuts, A to B, beginning to end. Private consultation all the way through to an adoption, plus those bonus reports. But in the meantime, if you're interested in just the private consultation as well as the vendor shortlist, that is something we are doing for clients at no charge. So thanks for joining today. We appreciate the time. Good luck with your digital transformation journey, and we'd love to help you out. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.